Welcome to your new life sentence, also known as your 9-to-5 job, where the only crime you committed was needing money to survive. Congratulations, you now get to spend the best years of your life trapped in an office, surrounded by artificial lighting, pointless meetings, and Karens arguing how their Excel spreadsheet isn't printing correctly, and demanding IT department to drop everything to fix it. Because obviously, their work is more important than anyone else's. Well, back in the day, work was simple. You worked, you got paid, and then you went home. Blue-collar workers built skyscrapers, and people respected them for it. Your job actually mattered. You clocked out, and that was it. Your boss wasn't sliding into your DMs at 10 p.m. with a quick request. Then the 1980s happened. Wall Street, finance bros, and the rise of corporate America. Suddenly, college was the only way to be successful, and office jobs became the dream. And with that, the soul-sucking 9-to-5 grind was born. So, every workday starts the same way. Your first punishment, the morning commute. You sit in traffic for an hour, gripping the steering wheel while listening to a podcast about financial freedom that reminds you how not financially free you are. Also ironic because you're currently spending money just to get to work. Gas, coffee, overpriced parking, it's all a part of your sentence. You haven't even clocked in yet, and you already feel like you need a vacation. But don't worry, the real fun begins once you step into the office. Meetings. Lots and lots of pointless meetings. Your calendar is somehow full before you've even opened your laptop. And what's on the agenda? Nothing important. Just 3 hours of people pretending to care while your boss drops corporate buzzwords like, "Let's circle back on that," or "We're optimizing for stakeholder alignment." Basically, a whole lot of words that mean absolutely nothing, but somehow still require a follow-up meeting. And yet, despite all this so-called collaboration, you walk out of the meeting with more questions than answers. Which brings us to the ultimate scam: fake work. You're not breaking your back in 100-degree heat, and you're definitely not saving lives. No, your suffering is mental. Because deep down, you know that half of what you do doesn't actually matter. If you stopped working today, the world would keep turning. But if the janitor stopped working, absolute chaos. And yet, the janitor is making way less than Chad from marketing, who just spent 3 hours designing a PowerPoint about brand engagement that nobody will ever read. By now, you're starving. Good news? You technically get a lunch break. Bad news? Lunch breaks are a myth. Sure, the company handbook says you get a full hour, but in reality, it plays out more like this. You spend 20 minutes waiting in line for food. Right as you take your first bite, your boss sends an urgent Slack message. Carol from accounting corners you in the break room to tell you in excruciating detail about her cat's gluten allergy. Tastes like capitalism. However, the finish line is in sight. The workday is almost over, except it never actually ends, because you're on salary, which means your boss can email you at 9 p.m. with a quick favor. And you better respond, because if you don't, Steve from IT will. And suddenly, Steve's getting that promotion you always wanted. But let's be real, that promotion won't save you. It just means more work, slightly better pay, and a fancier title that makes you feel important while you rot inside. Studies show that the average worker puts in an extra 9 hours of unpaid overtime every week, thanks to emails, Slack messages, and the always-on work culture. So even when you're off the clock, you're never really off. And just like that, another soul-crushing day comes to an end. You get home, exhausted, too drained to enjoy the few hours of free time you have left. Maybe you watch an episode of something, scroll on your phone, and suddenly, boom, it's midnight. You swear you'll wake up early to be productive, but the alarm hits like a brick. And before you know it, you're back in traffic, back at your desk, back in another pointless meeting. It's a never-ending cycle. Wake up, work, go home too tired to live, sleep, then repeat. And before you even realize it, 40 years have passed, and they give you a plaque and a $20 Starbucks gift card as a thank you for sacrificing the best years of your life. That's why every 9-to-5 feels like a life sentence. You're not just working a job, you're serving time. So, for as long as we can remember, society has drilled one thing into our heads. Go to college, get a degree, land a white-collar job, and you've made it. Meanwhile, blue-collar jobs, plumbers, electricians, construction workers are dismissed as lesser, even though they keep the world running. Why? It all comes down to status, comfort, and a whole lot of outdated thinking. We've been sold the lie that a degree is the only path to success, but in reality, it often just leads to student debt and a low-paying office job where your biggest accomplishment is surviving another pointless meeting. Meanwhile, the guy who skipped college, learned a trade, and built a skill, he's making six figures with no debt and no need for a LinkedIn profile. Then, there's the clean versus dirty stigma. Society glorifies sitting in a chair under fluorescent lights while looking down on jobs that require actual skill. But who's really winning here? The guy drowning in emails, pretending to be busy, or the one staying active, working with his hands, and getting paid well for it? And let's not forget the corporate ladder illusion. White-collar workers are told if they grind long enough, they'll climb to the top. But the truth is, the ladder has missing rungs. That promotion might never come, your raise won't keep up with inflation, and the job at the top, already taken by the CEO's nephew. Meanwhile, skilled workers actually move up, starting as apprentices, gaining experience, and even running their own businesses. So, how do you escape this life sentence? Well, you've got two options. First, go full survival mode, quit society, enter the woods, build a cabin, and hunt for food like it's the 1800s. Honestly, if everything goes to shit, that's my plan B. Otherwise, stay in society, but break the norms. Start building on yourself. Find your purpose and chase that passion. There are so many creative, meaningful careers that don't involve sitting in a cubicle pretending to care about brand engagement. Think about it this way. If your job really mattered, the world would feel it if you suddenly stopped working. If you could disappear tomorrow and nothing would change, you're in the wrong place. That's exactly what one of my old colleagues realized. We were stuck in the same office job, but his passion was fixing cars. At first, he just took side gigs from coworkers, changing tires, doing small repairs. Eventually, the demand grew, and now he quit his office job and runs a successful car business without a degree, just by mastering a skill and going all in. My point is, the whole dream of the 80s office life, suits, water coolers, pointless meetings, and Karens fighting over thermostat settings, is outdated thinking. That version of success was built for a different world. We're in 2025 now. The internet, digital tools, creative industries, and remote work have completely rewritten the rules. You don't need to beg for a promotion anymore. You can literally create your own opportunities. Now, I'm not saying you need to rage quit your job, throw your tie in the trash, and start a YouTube channel tomorrow. Though, tempting. But if you take the time to build a skill that makes you irreplaceable, whether that's creative, technical, hands-on, or even niche as hell, you'll always have doors open. That's the kind of leverage no corporate title can give you. And some people genuinely love the white-collar jobs. The structure, the team environment, the predictable routine. If that's your dream, go for it. But before you lock yourself into a cubicle for the next 40 years, ask yourself one thing. Is this path truly yours, or just the one you were handed? Because here's the truth. The world doesn't reward the most educated anymore. It rewards the most useful. Degrees might get your foot in the door, but skills are what keep you in the room. And at the end of the day, when the Wi-Fi cuts out or your toilet floods, Chad from marketing isn't the one fixing it.